Good morning to you all. Many thanks for your comments on my last video that I put up. I'm a little bit more cheery today looking at the plants. Yes, I would agree that that plant that wanted naming was a Stromp cactus. It's just that I forget names momentarily, and when you're filming you say to yourself, oh God, I know the name of that, but then it just slips one's memory. But not to worry, probably due to getting old. Thanks again to you all who have put comments up, also mentioning my coming up operation for the eyes. I'm very, very grateful for the comments made. It gives me a chance to thank people and also have a little bit of a chin wag, which I love doing. These plants, incidentally, are not mine. They belong to a very keen member, Jean, also a member of the Cactus and Succulent Society, the MESEM group, and has done many things in the society. She's been on some of the continental trips as well. So it's good to see these plants. I give them the occasional watering if they need it, and hopefully I'm keeping them alive. So my knowledge might not be too good on certain species, so we'll go around and have a look. Anyway, it's nice to give me a chance to have a chat, because I view YouTube quite a lot, and I'm always amazed to see what is on there. My other interests, as you know, are telephones, which I get a few people looking at them, vintage lamps, same comments there, a few people are interested, and I will put more of them up. I've always had a sort of interest in various transport. Some of the old trains have been nice to watch and see them go. I know one of my subscribers, Christopher, he is very, very keen on certain trains in Australia, and it is nice to be able to look at these and see. Also, while we're on this, when I was very young and at school, I was intrigued with lifts. Now, in those days, I was thought of as being most peculiar. Why is he interested in lifts or elevators if you live in America? And I can remember all the very old names. Many of the names are no longer with us, and I've got a very old book from America showing some old names. So it was quite interesting, and of course all the modern ones look modern, no character in them. You see one from one make, or one name perhaps I should say, and I don't even recognise it, whereas in the old days I could go up to a lift and say, oh yeah, it's made by Express, oh that's Wagood Otis. See, I'm showing my age now. Wagood Otis, they've been out of production for a long time. They become Otis. I believe Wagood Otis installed a lift in Portugal, Lisbon, I believe. Oh, excuse me, coughing. But anyhow, getting back to the plants, I do tend to go off on a tangent. So just to give you an idea of some of the bits and pieces that I've been interested in. If I cough, I do apologise. Now, looking at some of the plants, now it's a nice bright day. It is 12:56 on the 26th of the 5th. Oh, I do apologise. I'm not going to restart this one. So if you can put up with me choking, I will continue. We've got a nice purpley coloured Echeveria. This came, I believe, from one of our local garden centres. Very nice plant. It's obviously a hybrid. but it colours up beautifully. Let's have a look at some of the other plants. I'm going to go through it just as a video. Obviously, a Lophophora, you've got an Obrogonia denegrii, kind of serious. Tormea papriacantha. This is a grafted plant. We're waiting to get a bit of grafting stock to regraft it. That's maybe what these two plants are waiting for, I don't know. There's a nice one there, you probably see the name on there. I understand it's a hybrid. I tend to not grow hybrids. I find that there's so much space taken up by plants, so the true species, it's easier to stick to those. And I still run out of space. There's a grafted Aztecaeum eritreae. Ortego cactus. I think that's Ortego cactus McDowelley. And you've got a bloom here on, hopefully I'm pointing it in the right direction, of Strombocactus disciformis with that white bloom. It's a nice time you can come down and see these. Here we've got a multi-headed, what they call that, I've got the name again, Blossfeldia lilliputana. Lilliputana refers to being small, from Gulliver's Travels. Lilliput, the Isle of Lilliput, where the inhabitants were very, very small. See, it helps you with history as well. As I say, during my school days, which were days not enjoyed, I was not interested in what they might call the normal things, like kicking a blooming football about and doing things like that, which I hated. But I did come up with various bits and pieces, like some of the plant names, some of the plants, and they thought I was completely mad. Perhaps I was, but it's nice, you know, and interest in these things. I remember during a science lesson drawing a diagram of an incandescent lamp, and because I was quite knowledgeable about certain lamps, the common lamp of those days was the clear coil 100-watt lamp, and in the base there was 2 fuses, which I understood quite well, and on the diagram which I submitted I added the fuses, only to be told I was silly. I ignored it. My father said, well, you probably know more about it than they do, and we left it at that. Whether I did know more about it, I don't know, but I certainly knew they had fuses. Anyhow, I'm going off the subject again. We got here Euphorbia Susanni. Now, it looks like it's had a little bit of too much sun, so just may help out here if it's in a more shady spot. You've got columnaris, Euphorbia columnaris grafted. That's a very rare plant. Next to it, Jean's Pachypodium is more advanced than mine, and it's in bloom. We're hoping to get that one to another friend who lives not a million miles from here, who's got a ginormous plant of this, and via that way we can get them tickled up and hopefully set seed. In front of that we've got Monodinium magnificum. Once again, the name suggests it is a magnificent plant. Serrigia next to it. See, these names are coming back to me now, although I tend to specialise, if you use that as a word, to grow the mesems, but the lithops within that group are a very sore point with me at the moment. Oh, well, I've got to mention these. The Mammillarias. I'll pick one of these up so you get a closer view. There's the name, Mammillaria bertholdtii. Anything most unlike a mammillaria. Look at the tubercles on that. I wouldn't have thought that was a mammillaria in 100 years, but it is. And another one next to it. There's its mate, same species, but just look at those very long tubercles. It looks like there's a bud there as well. Take a close look at that, it's in bud. But it's grafted, which is probably the best way of growing it. I've no objection to grafting certain plants. You know, they can be very, very slow growing. Another grafted one at the back there. In the front you've got Epilantha rufus spinal. I don't know that one. I know Epilantha, the name's gone, but it's is it on this one I'm thinking of? Yes, Micromerus, Epilantha micromerus. There's several forms of this. Once again, they're all slow growing. I remember seeing one when I was virtually a kid still, grown at the Exotic Collection in Worthing. The collection's no longer there now, and they had a beautiful plant. It really was a well-grown plant. Those of you that subscribe to ASP, the African Succulent Plant Society, which unfortunately is now defunct. There was often an article or a series of articles in there with the battling Bryans. There was two Bryans who both talked about lithops, but their views were often quite different, and it got heated at times, which caused a bit of interest. Now let's progress. So I've got a few more plants over there. Adamiscus, Echeveria. This is get it out, have a little look. It's always nice when I can pick it up and have a look. There we are. This is named Tiliconan buchholzii. Now this also reminds me of a gentleman I knew along with Jean and many of the other cactus friends who used to live at Uxbridge. Jack Brown, no longer with us unfortunately, but he knew Bates, who was well known in the other succulent circles. He had a greenhouse in his garden at West London. He was a tram driver. He was either a tram driver or a conductor, either of a tram or a trolley bus. And in his garden, or in the greenhouse, he had a pond. So you that have got ponds in greenhouses, nothing new. This was done years ago. Well, his friend Jack Brown had this particular plant and showed it to me every time I visited him, which incidentally was made very welcome with his wife and him. There was always a cup of tea made as we arrived, and he had this plant and he said it's a very, very slow grower, and he was right. In those days it was known as cotyledon Burkholtzii. They've changed the name round, they call it Atelocodon or Tylocodon now. As far as I'm concerned, it's a cotyledon. Slow growing cotyledon. Talking about slow growers, I just realised what plants Jean's got. She's got one or two very nice plants. Here, it doesn't look too well, but it's alive. It's Caralluma dodsoniana, and that was named after J. Dodson in America, who ran the ISI, the International Succulent Institute. I don't know whether it's still going, it possibly is. J. Dodson, that's who this plant was named after. It's a Stapelia, or a Stapeliad, and whether this has changed its name, I don't know. I know it as Caralluma dodsoniana, and also that it is not an easy plant to grow. In fact, nigh on impossible to grow. Pop it back. You've got some aloes at the back there. These are, as far as I know, varieties or hybrids. I don't know too much about them. And the Echeveria there that you can see, put the old camera a bit closer to it, is also a hybrid. You've got Aeonium next to it, Aeonium atripurpurea, which I believe means dark purple. These are habitats of the Canary Isles. You've got Aloe what's the correct way of spelling it? Plicatillus. That's the one there, Aloe plicatus. That makes a very nice plant. This is just a baby plant at the moment. Give it plenty of soil, nice big pot, and it'll do fine. In front of that you've got Aloe descoinsii, with a little flower on top of it. Another aloe in front of that. And a few more Echeverias. There's an Echeveria there. We've got another Aeonium, Echeveria, 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 and a nice Echeveria there. Now that the Echeveria we're looking at now, one of its parents is believed to be Lowii, a very difficult plant to grow. But as I say, this plant, possibly through hybrid vigour, seems to be quite a good grower and not difficult. You've got a plant from Madagascar, the Laudu, I think this is called, with its new leaves coming up. I thought we'd lost this over winter, but it's come back and it's doing fine. A Laudia. We've got a Cerid type plant at the back, possibly it could be anything, there's no name on it. Myrtillocactus, is it? I don't know, it's similar. And behind him you've got Euphorbia of the Millide type, also from the Isle of Madagascar. Coming round, keeping you all awake, I don't want to drive you to sleep. In the front here you've got Bowia volupulus. This is related to the onion, it's a bulb. They do grow quite large, sort of the size of a large orange, but they've got a small one there. Bowia volupulus, a name that's gone out of fashion of late. This one turned up. A few more bits and bobs. Arboreta, I think it's called. Yeah, Arboreta brevifolia. Brevi means, from the word abbreviation, it means shortened. And brevifolia would mean it has short leaves. Brevifolia. Behind that we've got a Rhipsalis. And behind that a few more bits and bobs. Hope you can see them okay. In this tray you've got a Gasteria, some aloes, another two more Gasterias. The name Gasteria refers to the flowers. The flowers are in the shape of a stomach. The Latin name for the stomach is Gaster. So the plant is called Gasteria, meaning stomach flower or plant. All these names make sense. Well, most of them do. I don't say all of them do, but a lot of them do. You've got this plant is growing now. Calibanus hookerei. These grow enormous. They grow enormous. Found in the New World Americas. Next to that we've got Haworthia limifolia. That's quite an old plant, looking very fine as well. As long as you don't want the names of some of these plants, which I don't know. Got various crested forms, monstrose. You've got a nice plant there. This, I believe, is a species of Gymnocalycium. Now, Gymnocalycium means with naked calyx. There's an example, naked calyx, where we got the name gymnasium, which was a place for people to do exercises without wearing anything. It means naked. So gymno means naked. And that is a Gymnocalycium. So the calyx of the flower is more or less bare, there's nothing on it. So gymno, naked calyx. You've got another Gasteria there. I think this is Gasteria armstrongii. You've got a little, which one's that? The name of this one is gone. It's an agave of some sort, but no. I'll be guessing if I put a name on that. Let's have a look at some flowers. As I said, the sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Let's have a look at some flowers to cheer you up. I've got the names are there, so you can probably see the names. These are sulcos. I know nothing about sulcos. I know they are generally not difficult to grow. Generally small plants, small growing, and produce nice flowers. Carrying on. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of watering. There's another Stapeliad. It's only a baby plant, but this is one of the plants where the names have changed. I've known it as Stapelia engleriana, which was named, I believe, after a Mr. Engler. Sounds like a German gentleman, but it's been renamed Trimotricha. Trisha, I think, means hairy. Trimotricha. So the names have changed. I still know it as Caralluma englerii, a squared stemmed plant, and the flowers are dark brown, small, with the lobes curved back. You've got Euphorbia stellata. stellata, meaning like a star. Euphorbia. So that's quite a choice plant as well. Well, I think that's more or less it. I've got a Hoya. That's a Hoya, which is a good hanging plant. Do quite well. I think I've covered all the plants in here. Once again, thanks for looking. Now, these are not my plants. They belong to Jean, and she looks after them. And they're not doing too bad. They're added to when there's a bring them by or something like that. So they're coming on. So any questions, please ask. This one, they call it Fred. It's where a species, I don't know what the species was, but it's turned inside out, which sounds ridiculous, but the plant turned itself inside out. And on the continent, it's quite plentiful. It's just known as Fred. Good old Fred. We've also got Mammillaria carmini. Something that I haven't shown. What's that one? That's that one. Another one I don't know. So anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed seeing these plants. I enjoy making the videos, as you can probably guess. And once again, the greenhouse will have to be cleared out of hind legs of donkeys. I do like talking. I hate typing. So, you know, this is why I can thank you all for passing the comments on the last entry that I put in, and hope you all enjoy this one. Don't forget, subscribe and like. This is what you do. And any of you who are viewing this who might belong to my local branch, the meeting is on not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Whether I can make it, I don't know. It's the day of my IOP. I'm hoping to make it. It's nice attending meetings, and you always get a friendly welcome, a nice cup of tea, a nice biscuit. I'm only allowed to eat one biscuit a month, and that's at the cactus meeting. Anyhow, thanks again. I will come out of the greenhouse, and as I say, any questions please ask, and hopefully if I can't answer them, Jean can, because there's a way of showing where the picture appears with respect to a positioning on the actual image, so hopefully we'll be able to do it. Anyhow, I'm going to shut up because I've been going on far too long, and once again thank you all and hope you enjoy. Thank you.